Yo, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another video. Today we're talking about 7 more older strategies that are heavily boosted by Unisons, and this is a really cool thing to do. I did a video similar to this a few weeks ago, and it's really cool because I think Unisons do help out a lot of older decks. You know, obviously there are new meta decks that really benefit from Unisons, maybe like tier 1, borderline tier 0 status if we want to talk about Vegex, but I really do think there are older strategies very much worth exploring thanks to Unison. So guys, before we get into the video, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe, hit that bell so you don't miss a video. If you want to help the channel out, there are many ways to do that down in the description. Check out all the links: Patreon, Gemmy, merch store. I'll also put up a little information card in the top right corner of the video. Make sure to click that. It really does help me out a lot, guys. I really appreciate each and every one of you guys. 1 million views. Wow, I can't believe it, man. Thank you so much. That being said, now that I'm done gushing, let's get on into the video. First one I want to talk about, Android 21. Now, if you guys have been on the Patreon more so than the channel, you would know that I am a really big fan of 21. I posted a very close to home deck list for 21 that really nobody else in the community was playing, at least from what I was able to see. And I think it's a really strong deck. I think that Golden Frieza, Unison, and Malice really benefits 21 greatly. And it's kind of interesting because normally we see Unisons in the same color as their leader. So typically, you know, it's a blue Unison with a blue leader. Like, people would probably think that Zeno Cosmic Unison is pretty good with 21, but I'm not a huge fan of it because in bad 21 specifically, you have to play multicolor. If you don't, the deck just doesn't work. Your leader doesn't untap any energy, and the fact that Zeno can charge tapped energy is very bad, especially when you have a high multitude like you would in 21. So in my opinion, none of the blue Unisons really work too well with 21. That's why I started to explore the green Unisons, and I really like Golden Frieza, Unison, and Malice. I mean, the crit is great because this is one of the few leaders now that Piccolo is kind of like unplayable. This is one of the few leaders that doesn't have to attack the opponent and can, you know, passively gain advantage, passively hand control the opponent. And the fact that Golden Frieza, Unison, and Malice has crit means you can start to burn at their life total without having to give them cards, which feels really good. Besides that, the -2 gives this deck a topo-like effect. Until the end of your opponent's next turn, your opponent can't attack with battle cards unless they choose one of their battle cards with energy cost of 2 or more and places it in the owner's drop area. So with that in mind, I really like this Unison for so many different reasons. 21 helps alleviate aggro, helps put on crit pressure, helps you see new cards. I think it's incredibly good. I will probably post a 21 deck profile maybe next week, maybe this week on the channel. Let me know if you guys want to see that down in the comments below. That being said, the next leaders we're talking about, there is a lot of Gogeta in this video, just like a little disclaimer here. The first 2 Gogeta leaders I want to talk about, we have SSB Gogeta Fusion Perfected, and we have SSB Gogeta Fusion Transcendent. So I think both these leaders are highly benefited by Sin Shenron and by Gotenks Unison of Rage. Now, the thing with Unisons and the thing with Set 10 in general, it really makes red into this type of deck where it's just like red deck wins. You know, that's a term that people will take for Magic a lot, but it really is true because nowadays, like, red decks kind of just seem to be like, you know, slam all the best red cards in the game into a red deck, pick your leader of choice, and now you have a pretty strong deck. So I think what's really cool about both these Gogeta leaders is they kind of bring their own things to the table. So first of all, SSB Gogeta Fusion Perfected, you have an absolute ton of draw power with the front side effect. Firstly, discarding Gokus and Vegetas in order to self-awaken and draw 2 cards. That's really powerful. The backside, you have the option to go and negate your opponent's counters 2 or higher. So it's obviously really good for a lot of counterplays, you know, Trompa the Trickster, Vegeta the Cruel, any of the extra card counterplays 2 or more, and Mafuba. You know, it's really funny this leader kind of came out right at the cusp of all these different counterplays, and he pretty much negates them. So that makes him really strong in that regard. And then you have SSB Gogeta Fusion Transcended. On the front side, you have the 15k attacker. That's pretty strong. You have the Awaken at 5, kind of like the new Yamcha leader. And then the back side, you have that consistent double strike and the consistent ability to remove a 10k or less battle card, which is actually really good because, like I've talked about a lot of times on the channel and Patreon, the 1-drops that are in the game right now are very high value. So having a leader that pretty much snipes those for free is very good. Then you take the leaders, pair them up with the Unisons, Sin Shenron, Unison, and Calamity. You have consistent removal. You have the ability to attack active mode battle cards, which is very good. Gotenks just gives your leader free buffs. You know, both these leaders have double strike, so giving them the free 5k buff essentially is very good. And then both the Unison cards allow you to look at your opponent's hands, which in my opinion, again, I keep saying it, it's just very good. Like, the -2 is on both these guys. Look at the opponent's hand, remove a problematic battle card, and go in. It kind of gives you that element of like mid-range control and even aggro because these cards are all very aggressive and very control-y at the same time. So I think it's really good. I would definitely explore these 2 leaders if you wanted to mess around with some more Gogeta style variants. Another Gogeta leader I want to talk about, SS Gogeta the Unstoppable. If you guys didn't see earlier in the week, This deck was piloted by Marcus Cantarsi. We were on his stream the other day. I recorded it and uploaded the VOD to the channel. He played this deck with Zeno Cosmic Unison, and this is very, very good. He doesn't play a very high amount of red-blue cards, so Zeno Cosmic Unison generally isn't going to charge a tap battle card. And this leader just synergizes with Zeno so well because you can remove your energy that Zeno is going to kill at the end of the turn, and then you could draw 2 off of it. That's just such good synergy, such good value. It's really, really good. You have the extra, I mean, this deck is all about ramping, right? So you have your turn 2 Zeno Cosmic Unison. So basically every single turn you're getting an additional energy, and then if you really need to, you can board wipe obviously with Zeno's -5 effect. And then you have Veku ramping you 2 more energy the next turn. So on that sense, you're basically gaining 3 energy after turn 3. So going into your turn 4, you'd be on 7 energy. That's pretty good. I mean, the deck's pretty consistent because the leader does search out your Veku in terms of your ramp ability. And in certain matchups, Veku isn't going to be the most reliable because, yeah, he does have counters. Like, there are things that kind of say, okay, I'm going to just wreck your Veku when you try to play him. But that's okay because you still have Zeno Cosmic Unison, which can pretty much never die because of the amount of counters it's able to generate. So with that in mind, you still have consistent ramp, and like I said, the draw power on this leader is pretty much unparalleled. So if you're really losing to hand control, really don't want to deal with hand control, this is probably a strategy you're going to want to explore pretty heavily. Next up, I guess it's not so much of an older strategy, but it is, you know, kind of breathing new life into what Soul Striker once was. So I want to talk about Soul Striker Reborn, and I want to talk about the Goku Black Unison. So basically, the reboot leader says on the front side, when you attack, you can either untap a mono blue or draw a card. So in the early turns, you're most likely just going to draw the cards. You really won't need the energy, most likely, until you're awakened anyway. So that's really, really good. They added that. Now he awakens when you're at 4 or less life, or when you have a 3-drop blue Unison in play. Now there are 2 of them in the game. There's the Goku Black. There's also going to be the SS3 Gogeta Championship Pack promo. So that makes it pretty consistent in terms of your awaken ability. And that's really cool because it's really reminiscent of Results of Training, which back in the day Soul Striker used to awaken, you know, higher than 5 life. So that's really cool. That's reminiscent of that. But being able to awaken, you know, anywhere above your 5 life is so strong in the format. Like, you know, Goku Black is a great Unison. Basically, he has blocker. When this card switches to active mode, which the Reborn leader does on his awakened side, you add a marker to him so you can block with him, restand him, block them, restand him. That's really good. Then you have the +or-0, activate main, draw a card, then discard a card from your hand. The -2, some generic removal, choose one of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost 4 or less and place it at the bottom of the owner's deck. I think it's just a really overall good Unison. And then the backside of your Reborn leader says, when this card attacks, draw 1, switch up 2 of your mono blue energy to active mode, and then auto at the end of the turn, choose one of your blue Unison cards, switch it to active mode. So really good synergy there. I like that it breathes new life into this Soul Striker kind of thing that we all miss. Very, very cool. Next up, I want to talk about OG Broly. Now, in mono green Broly, there's an interesting thing there. I mean, people tried it mono green before set 10. People tried it multicolor. But now that we can come back to monocolor, it's really, really cool because there are so many good green 1-drops you can play in the Broly deck. You can play the new Vegeta Super Combo. You can play the 1-drop Broly that searches other Brolys. You can play any of the Borgos-like cards for a matchup like Soul Striker. That's very good. And then you can easily play SS Bardock Paternal Unison. He just helps you do the same thing that Broly wants to do. Set up Ring, set up either Caulifla or the Paragus to protect your own board, and then rip your opponent's hand. That's such good value there. I think that's really what this leader wants to be doing. And Bardock is excellent. Of course, I would definitely recommend you probably play the 3-drop green Metacooler Unison if you have access to it. I mean, it's going to be pretty hard to get, granted the fact that, you know, we're not able to go to too many IRL tournaments, and the fact that, you know, we're kind of having these online tournaments, but they don't have a ton of entry space, which I don't really think you can blame Bandai for that. It is really tough to organize, you know, a 100-player tournament on Untapped. That is very, very difficult. But with that being said, I think this is a leader you absolutely want to play with this Unison if you're not going to play one of the more meta things, like, for example, WMAC Goku or Green Frieza. That's just my opinion anyway. Next up, we have Black Broly. So 2 Broly leaders right in a row. I think this is a leader that not many people will remember. I'm going to give it a quick read. When this card attacks a leader card, this is the unawakened side. You may choose 1 card in your life, place it in the drop area. If you do, place up to 3 cards from top of your deck in your drop area. Then your opponent chooses a card in their hand and places it in their drop area. Awaken at 4 or less, draw 2 cards, flip over. On the awakened side, auto when this card attacks, draw 1. Then you may choose one of your non-token, non-black battle cards and place it in your drop area. If you do, your opponent chooses 1 card in their hand and places it in their drop area. Activate main once per turn, choose a card in your hand, place it in the drop area, choose one of your opponent's battle cards, and KO it. So, a few things here. In my opinion, this is a leader that you can pretty easily swap out for Vegex and almost play the same exact deck. because he is a black sand. So the SS Gotenks Fusion of Friendship and all the Trunks, the Vegeta Xeno, and the Supreme Kai of Time, they will all get played if you mill them with this leader, which is really, really cool. I think there's actually a version of Vegex you can play with this leader that would actually give you a pretty decent option for hand control, which is, I think, a really cool thing you can definitely do there. Now, you could explore this as a 2-color deck. You can maybe go like black-red or maybe black-green to go into a little bit more of a hand control-y route, because you got to sacrifice some of your non-black battle cards to make your opponent discard more cards on the backside. But even if you played mono black, I think it'd be pretty good, because this leader does discard U3s for you. The Gotenks Unison discards U3s for you. So you can be pretty aggressive there while you're getting your hand control on your Awakened side. And then your backside, you know, discard a Degree Sheet to pop a battle card. That seems like pretty good value. This is actually something I'll definitely explore a little bit more. Maybe I'll bring you guys a deck profile for it. But anyways, guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video. I want to know what you think in the comments below. What other decks are you excited about thanks to Unisons? Thanks for watching. I will see you guys next time.